Here are 5 common reasons that many Christian guys are not attractive to Christian women. And please note, I do believe that there is the other side to this coin. Some women aren't attracted to some really good guys because of their own issues. They have false ideas of what a strong, godly man looks like, and they've been fed a bunch of lies from culture. That's just not the point of this video. I'll have to do a different video on that topic. Rather, I'm talking to men who want to take personal responsibility for themselves and stop blaming the world around them for all the reasons that they think that they're still single. If you want to actually do something that matters and that you actually have control over, rather than just complaining about all the outside factors that you don't have control over, then this video is for you. You can actually do something to make yourself more attractive to godly women. And again, if that's not you and you just want to complain and tell me why all the women out there are the problem, keep it moving. Also, the deadline to enroll in HEW University closes on May 28th. If you're a man looking for biblical information on how to prepare for a godly relationship, click the link in the description to learn more. Number 1, because those guys are too nice. Now, please don't get hung up on that word nice. You may be using that word differently than I'm using that word. I'm using that word to mean something different than kind or gentle or sensitive or thoughtful. All of those things are really good. A Christian man should be those types of things. So if that's what you mean by nice, then I'm not going to argue about words. That's not the point here. I'm talking about a guy, and the way I'm using this word nice or nice guy, it's the type of guy that gets ran over, that doesn't really have a backbone. He's obsessed with people pleasing. He likes those phrases like happy wife, happy life. The truth is, a godly woman wants to submit to a man. She doesn't want to be with a man that she can railroad. Now, in moments of stress, of hurting, when her emotions are high, she's definitely going to get tempted into dominating a man, but she also wants to be with a man that can fight back and solve this problem that they both know is a problem, where she's not just going to run the show when her emotions are high, and the guy actually has a backbone to say, stop, we're not going down that road. She wants to be with the guy who can see this woman's being tempted by her emotions, and I'm not going down that road with her. We're going to stand on God's truth. We're going to keep going in the right direction, and I'm going to lead her out of the chaos that her emotions have brought her into. Likewise, men, we can be emotional, we can be out of sorts, we can be driven by anger and tempted into all kinds of sin, and we need a godly woman to lovingly correct us sometimes. The point is, a nice guy just can't operate in this type of relationship. Sadly, many men have been taught that to be a Christian man, you need to be a nice guy. This is just untrue. We must be respectful, we must be kind, we must choose our words wisely and speak the truth in love. But we also need to be as bold as lions, as it says in Proverbs 28, verse 1. For more information on this topic of not being a nice guy, you can watch my other video called 4 Reasons a Man Should Not Be Nice by clicking the card in the right corner of your screen. Number 2, many Christian guys are not attractive to beautiful Christian single women because they are too feminine. We're starting to see the negative fruit of past generations starting to raise boys to be more like girls. Growing up in feminized families and feminized school environments, men or boys who are becoming men are now, surprisingly, not acting like traditional men who were raised differently. So they're not willing to do things like ask a woman out, pay for the first date, and fulfill those traditional roles that we all know a man should be pursuing. They're not doing that anymore. And the women are like, hey, where are all the guys at? Well, they're not there anymore because we've emasculated them as a culture. So the same women that think boys should be raised like girls are now the same women who are complaining about there not being any men to ask them out and do what men are supposed to do. Now, it may seem like I'm blaming women, and of course, women have a part to play, but God has ordained men to be leaders. And to be honest with you, we're the ones who let this happen in culture. Yeah, women pushed, women wanted this and that. But men seceded. They allowed it to happen. So men are the ones who've given into the feminist lies and just let it happen, because a man can stop a woman if he wants to. And as a group of men, we could have stopped culture from going down this road if we wanted to, but we didn't. We got passive. We let women start leading. And now the problem is we think it's normal to be feminine as men. And that's a problem. So women think they want a sensitive guy. Don't fall for that trap. They may say it. They may think they want it. They don't want that. What they actually want is a strong man. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to be sensitive. Some men are more naturally sensitive and in tune with their feelings and in tune with other people's feelings. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not the quality that beautiful women are actually attracted to. That isn't going to hurt the situation. It might actually even help the situation and give the guy some bonus points. But if he doesn't have strength and he's just sensitive, it doesn't matter how sensitive he is. He'll never be desirable to a beautiful Christian woman. You have to start with masculinity and strength. So believe it or not, you don't have to always talk about your feelings. I know that sounds like heresy these days, but if you just don't need to do it. You don't need to complain about the things outside of your control. You don't have to tell your girlfriend or your wife about the hard things that happened at work today. You can just come home and ignore them and go on with your day and be a man and solve the next problem in front of you, rather than bubbling up all these problems and being whiny. For more on this topic, you can watch my other video called 5 Signs You're Unknowingly Projecting a Feminine Vibe by clicking the card in the right corner of your screen. Number 3, many Christian guys are not attractive to women because they're too physically unhealthy. In their book, The Boy Crisis, authors Warren Farrell and John Gray state, a third of young men are not fit for military service owing to obesity and other physical and mental problems. And this problem extends to other professions on which our security depends. 70% of firefighters and 80% of police officers are also obese or overweight. The US has the highest rate of overweight males among all major countries. While being unhealthy, whether that just means you're lacking a physical appearance that has muscle tone, or you're obese, or whatever, some other issue that makes you look unhealthy. Not only does that obviously affect the physical attraction scale, there's a deeper reason that this is making you look unattractive to women. Because women subconsciously are looking to pair with a man that can provide and protect. And the truth is, if you're not managing your own body well, how can you then be expected to help manage and support and nourish other people's bodies? Like, from a physical perspective, if you can't even manage your own vessel, how can you manage other people's vessel? So it's really just simple math. A woman who is looking for a man to help provide and protect and create a loving environment for her and her kids is just not attracted to a man who isn't thriving physically, and is attracted to the man who presents himself in a healthy way, because that symbolizes, even if all this is subconscious, it symbolizes that he will be the type of man to give her what she hopes to have in a family unit one day. Now, let me balance all this, because maybe some of you are offended by what I'm saying, or I'm being too overly strict. So let me tell you what I'm trying to say here. I was going to say, when I was titling this, that, women aren't attracted to the men because they're too fat. And, the more I thought about that, that's actually not true. I know plenty of guys who are bigger dudes, they got extra weight on them, and they have beautiful wives, and they're great men. And it's because they still look healthy. They're blue collar guys. They still have muscle mass. They're big, but they're healthy. And the same thing, you could say, oh, women aren't attracted to men who are too skinny. That's really not true. I know plenty of guys who are skinny, quote unquote, don't have muscles, don't look like an athlete, but they still look healthy. They're taking care of themselves. They don't look pale like they've just been sitting inside for 20 years. So I'm saying that looking healthy is very subjective. You can't just say this is the standard that all women will be attracted to. If you don't look like this type of guy, then you're not attractive. That is not what I'm saying at all. The truth is, we all are given certain qualities of our bodies that are completely out of our control. Some of us are naturally bigger. Some of us are naturally smaller. I'm a 5'9", very average, on the shorter side guy. I can't change any of that, but I can change what I put in my body. I can change how much I work out. I can change if I'm getting the proper amount of sunlight, getting enough sleep. All of these types of things are in my control. Some people have been born with physical handicaps. Some people have been gifted with genetics and they're just gonna be in the NBA. You know, they can run, they can jump. Other guys just don't have that. And so the thing I'm saying here is that it's all about stewarding what you've been given. Whether you've been born with a disability or whether you're a professional athlete, God will judge all of us on how we're stewarding the bodies he's given us to steward. God commands us to honor him with our bodies. And when we obey the Lord in faith, good things always happen. So I just challenge you, if you're someone who's feeling convicted right now, maybe a little offended, maybe a little called out, maybe like I'm judging you, just take a deep breath and pray about this later on and see if the Lord might not be saying, hey, I want you to obey me in this area, and see what happens. Here's what's going to happen. You may or may not be, find a godly woman because she's more attracted to you. Here's what's definitely going to happen. You're going to feel better in your own body. Number 4, many Christian women are not attracted to some men because they're too immature. Moms are holding on to their sons longer nowadays. In the past, a boy would, at some point in his youth, enter more into the world of his father. Sadly, due to many fatherless homes or homes that are with a father who's been feminized by his circumstances and his own choices, boys are not getting the male training from other men that they used to get and that we all need to get. So one consequence of this is that males are staying boys for longer. A mom without the balance of a good father it's very difficult for her to let him go and be exposed to danger. Everything in her is compassion and love, and it's coming from a good place, but her main objective is to protect what she loves, to protect that child. And there's also another place in some women that want to keep their boys dependent on them because they love being mom. And when the boy grows up, they feel like they're losing their place as mom, and subconsciously they end up keeping the boy young, and a male that should be a man, trying to keep him young by doing things for him to keep him dependent. In other words, a mom is more likely to just give the male what he needs. And that's very different than what a good father is going to want to do. He's not going to have that same drive. And that's a good drive because it needs to be balanced. If we just had fathers and not mothers, we'd all be super efficient and really good at what we do and probably feel totally unloved. Okay? So we need both. So a father knows that a boy, to become a man, needs to be exposed to danger. He actually knows, I got to take the training wheels off. I got to let him go out into the woods with his friends. I need to show him how to be safe, but then I got to let him go and make some mistakes and expose himself to real danger to become a man. A good father isn't trying to keep his son dependent. He's trying to teach him how to be independent. A good father isn't just going to give the son what he needs. He's going to try to teach the son how to provide for himself. College has become utterly ridiculous. It's no longer a time to train young people how to succeed in life. It's now a time to prolong adolescence and give grown men excuses to act like immature boys for longer in their life. Taking loads of debt to pay for extra time to do silly things that aren't benefiting you in life, to sleep in a crappy dorm, to get exposed to a bunch of worldly women, and to stay up late playing video games, to take out loans that will set you back years, decades in life is just a dumb choice. All that to say, if you want a real woman, you have to become a real man. You have to do what Paul said. When he became a man, he put childish things behind him. He put them aside and he learned how to love people maturely. And number 5, many women are not attracted to some Christian guys because they're too lost. A man who's not on mission is looking for his purpose. And what always happens is that a man who doesn't know his purpose, doesn't know his mission, is kind of drifting in life. He's searching because we're all made to know what we're supposed to do. And then he sees a beautiful woman and something in his heart goes, aha, I've found it. I've found the reason why I'm supposed to be here. She's my purpose. She's my mission. This is idolatry. A woman is not your mission in life. Serving God is your mission in life. He may call you to sacrificially serve your future wife as you lead the family unit, and that is a part of your calling, but the deepest layer, the motivation that drives everything you do is God, not a woman. And a godly woman knows this. She will actually run from the guy who is looking to her to be his purpose. She doesn't want to be your whole world. She doesn't want to be the journey. She doesn't want to be the mission. She doesn't want to be your adventure. She wants to be with a man who can invite her into a journey, into a mission, onto an adventure. She wants to help a godly man live a meaningful life together as they both live a meaningful life together for the glory of God. She doesn't want to be the meaning of your life. All that to say, if you want to be attractive to beautiful, godly women, then you have to be living your purpose as a man. And for those of you who want deep biblical relationship training on how to best meet, date, and marry the woman God has for you, I've created AGW University for you. For more information about the current bundle of courses at the reduced tuition cost, click the link in the description of this video before the May 28th deadline. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.